Well, nice of you to be here. My name is Jeroen Hendriks. I'm CEO of Cartup AI. We help e-commerce companies convert more and have less bounce rates by providing their shoppers a personalized experience. I'm not going to speak too much about our own solution today. I'm going to speak about what we've learned so far in the market in terms of what is personalization, does it actually work today? And if not, what is the problem? And maybe let's find out some solutions to actually make this work in real life. So I think we all know Mr. Bezos. We all know how happy he is. And he started about 15 years ago with personalization. And now 35% of all the revenue coming from Amazon is through personalized product recommendations. So if I go to Amazon, I really like it because it seems to know what I want and it seems to know what I want to buy next. Now, in comparison to Amazon, I think there's quite a gap with the rest of the retailers. There's some retailers that come a little bit close, but the majority of the retailers that I've been speaking with and that we've audited, and I go into a little bit more detail later, are actually far away from actually providing a personalized experience. So let's see why that is. So first of all, let's define personalization, okay? So on this side, on the left-hand side, we see some green shoes. Now, in addition to those green shoes, we see some recommendations of other shoes, but I may have just added a green suit in my cart. So I may not be interested in orange shoes or white shoes. I actually may be interested in more green shoes. But you may have actually added some nothing in your cart just yet, so you may be just looking for some fancy shoes. So for you, this may work very well. But the fact that you and I are both getting the same shoes as recommendations tells me it is not personalized. So yes, these are recommendations. These are recommendations that vary according to the anchor product, but it's not personalized to my intent. Same on the right-hand side. These earrings are supplemented with some other earrings. Yes, it is a nice recommendation, but it is not personalized to my intent. It doesn't interpret what I've done before, and it doesn't accommodate any of the recommendations based on what I have browsed before. This is another example that we see very often, right? Like say, make the look or complete the outfit. But first of all, what we see is that very often these are manually assorted, which takes a lot of time. They're never complete. They're always out of date. It doesn't follow trends. It doesn't follow different browsing behavior. And last but not least, it is not personalized. Again, you will find the same make a look recommendations that I will find. But maybe I like blue stuff and you like red stuff. Right? So also not personalization. Nice recommendations, but not personalized. Now this is the first level of personalization, right? So I've been browsing this makeup sites, and on the left-hand side, I see what I see if I have nothing browsed at all just yet. And on the right-hand side, I see what happens after I browse some skincare products. So yes, this is personalized. It is a relatively basic level of personalization. It is merely identifying the categories that I have browsed before, and it is then limiting the selection on the category that I have browsed before. But it's personalized. Fantastic. And now let's talk about hyper-personalization. So based on everything I've ever browsed before, and I'm looking for shoes, the system may know I'm actually a man, so I may probably be looking for male shoes. But you may be looking for female shoes based on your previous browsing history. So gender preference, color preference, brand preference, and using those user signals, as we call them, to limit and rank, not only filter, but rank the products from its search results, we can call hyper-personalization. Please.
Is it browsing on one particular website, or is it browsing on the web in total?
That's a very good question, right? So are we able and are we allowed to use browsing behavior from one customer and apply that to another customer? We personally in our company made the choice to not do that right now because of the GDPR issues, right? It's a risk, basically. So I'm not saying technically it is not, it's technically very much possible, but we choose to only use your data to your site and use your data to your site. Yeah. So that's hyper-personalization. But that's only one element or one application of hyper-personalization. Let's discuss some more, right? So On the left-hand side, on the top, we've seen the example that we just discussed: color, gender, brand, and other attributes of the product. The key here it is attributes of the product. But regardless of the attributes of the products, some products may be trending in north of England, and other products may be trending in the south of England. So if I'm from the south, it would be wise if I get those trending products from the south on top, while somebody from the north may be having more conversion probability if the trending products start with the products trending in the north. So geolocation-based trending is another example of hyper-personalization. Price points per category is very relevant, right? So I may be interested in fancy watches, but cheap jackets. So if I'm looking for a jacket, I want to have the bottom of the range. But if I'm looking for a watch, I want to have the top of the range. So identifying price point preferences per category and using that to, again, rank results is another example of hyper-personalization. And we're not going to talk about our company. So another example is the individual stock size validation. So if I've bought a jacket before, then the system knows my size. So I'm going for a new jacket or a new element in the same category, then why recommend products to me that are out of stock in my size? Because it will make me click, make me put in cart, oh, I got to select the size, oh, not in my size, oh, that's bad. So why recommend it to me in the first place? If you don't, you will have more products that are in my size, hence the conversion will go up. Right? These are all little percentage points to increase your conversion. So those are some other examples of hyper-personalization. So is it important? Why do we care? That's a good question, right? Because there's so many other things that you need to care about. So what does McKinsey say? Well, McKinsey says 20% higher customer satisfaction rates and 10 to 15% boost in sales conversion. And a lot more words that basically confirm it's important. McKinsey says so, okay? Boston Consulting Group give us some numbers as well. 110% more items in your basket, so 10% more basket size. 40% more of people say I've spent more money because I'm on a personalized site. And 20%, I believe, yes, is saying that I'm more likely to recommend your site to somebody else because I'm being addressed in a personalized manner. So McKinsey and Boston Consulting Group all say it's important. And remember Jeff Bezos? He knows it's important, right? So he's laughing. So we're completely in the position of this is actually very important to get those couple of extra percentage points to your conversion. So the question is, are the retailers winning if it comes to personalization? Gartner says that technology is failing at the moment. As a result, 80% of the marketeers will abandon the whole personalization effort by 2025 if the vendors are not solving this problem fast. Right? So there is a problem here. That's what Gartner clearly confirms. Myself and my team, we've actually analyzed and audited 400 companies in the UK. We started with the Retail X UK top 2000 list, and we started from the top. And we just analyzed. We just said, my colleague in India, browse for 10 minutes, I browse for 10 minutes, and then we look at the homepage again. Are my recommendations changing? They're not. No personalization. If they are changing, personalized. So what did we find? Out of 461 companies, 21 had some level of personalization. And all of these companies, we've also looked at what are the systems that they're using and build with. It's very easy to identify. They're all using the known vendors in the industry. So what's going on? And to be frank, I haven't figured it out either. Why is this not working? Well, there are some thoughts I have. Let me share them with you. So what's the problem, right? So first of all, there may be some priority issues in the side of the retailer, right? You may have other priorities, return flows, stock problems, inventory problems, logistical problems. And you may perceive that the effort is actually very big to make a real impact here. So it may not be worth your while in your perception. You may have actually tried it before and you've been disappointed. Obviously, that's my business. I speak to a lot of retailers that have worked with vendors and they're very disappointed, right? So you may have given up hope, basically. And you're in that 80% of the marketeers kind of bracket. Also, you may be considering, should I do it myself or should I not, right? And then if I want to do it myself, I speak with larger retailers. They say, well, we're going to try it ourselves, so we're developing it ourselves. The question is, are you focused enough to make that happen? Can you get the right skills to make that happen? That's the question there. On the technology side, there's also some quite interesting problems. We see that a lot of the technology vendors are working with primarily transactional data. Or if you talk about product data, only product data that's actually already known in the product attribute file, as opposed to extracting features with natural language processing from all the product descriptions, and extracting features with visual AI that can tell me this is a waist long jacket and this is a blue jacket. So we're training AI in order to extract features from the product. So limited data set and also quite siloed in their data approach. Rule-based systems, right? So if this category comes up, just recommend that category. So, and the more advanced vendors, they have rule-based systems to start with, and then they're plugging some AI on top, and that never works. So it's a rule-based as a kernel, and then they're trying to do some things with AI. So as opposed to being a AI-first company, an AI-first approach. Some of these solutions also are very difficult to integrate. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You need IT involved, so that again goes on the roadmap. It's 6 months further, so it's complex. And then if it's live, it takes a lot of time to maintain these rules and update these rules according to new trends and new accessories. New parts of your catalog, right? So adapting it to the catalog. That's another reason. And also, I speak to quite a number of retailers that are quite disappointed in the approach. So vendors sell a solution, and they never hear from them again. So they're not doing the customer success processes to really make it work in your business. Those are the observations I've made that why it's not working at the moment. Do you recognize this at all? Yeah? I see some nods, that's good. So let's see what we can do to fix this, right? So limited data sets. So you need a detailed and holistic view of your visitor signals to extract from your clickstream data, and also a detailed view of your product attributes and your product data. And then you need to look at it holistically and to make that the basis for your recommendations, both. And like I said, you can use AI to extract further features from the images and from the text or the content you have of the product. For example, every fashion retailer has fabric information in the content. It's washable, it's 100% cotton. Well, that's not an attribute that you find in the product file, so you can extract that from the product information. The depth of the algorithms is very important. So first of all, best-in-class solutions have algorithms based on neural networks that allow you to work with those hundreds and thousands of features and the latent features. Also, it needs to be merchant specific. So the weight, for example, one assortment, one category, or one specific merchant can have a lot of emphasis on color, while the other set of products may have a lot of emphasis on brands. So in order to differentiate those weights of those attributes in your algorithms and have machine learning train those weights, merchant specific is another example on the depth of the algorithms. Another example is the natural language processing to extract features, and vision AI to extract the features as well. That's another example of depth of the algorithms. And then it has to be easy to integrate, right? It has to be ideally a couple of hours meeting about which product files to share, which little JavaScript code to add to your site, and that should be it. As opposed to all kinds of building work, integration work, IT involved. It has to be simple. And then in maintenance, it has to be also simple and automated, right? You may need some time to tweak algorithms and to tweak weights and to tweak which attributes to use in your personalization, but it should not be a maintenance job of an analyst. It should be completely automated. And then I think the vendor needs to have the right DNA. The vendor needs to be with you on the ball and helping you along the road and actually fine-tuning the system to your needs and continuously having an eye on that ROI and tweaking the system to increase that ROI. That, I think, are the requirements that are needed for this kind of solutions to work. So that's also what I would advise you to look out for if you select another vendor for a personalization solution. So the question is indeed, do you want to win? Do you want to step in that rocket ship together with Mr. Bezos? well, then you need to indeed, I wanted to make it up, to finish up with a kind of high night note. So if you want to jump in that rocket, you need to actually find the right vendor to make this happen for you. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Any questions you can ask me now, or maybe you can see me at the stand later.